Hey folks! Welcome to the Petra Pan Apparel YouTube channel. In today's video, I am going to be going over a week of what it is like styling my vintage curls. This video was inspired by the vintage girl next door's video of her week of keeping up her set of her curls. I have been setting my hair regularly for the last few months. Until recently, I've only really been able to use rag curlers because my hair is really fine, and that was kind of the only thing that would actually allow my hair to dry. I started using a different size foam roller, and that seems to work really well for my hair. It takes a little bit longer because I have to use a lot of them, but it does help my hair hold the curl, and I've recently discovered the wonder of hair nets. Been using hair nets lately, and it helps my curls last so much longer. I have really fine hair, but it's very thick, and so I have a lot of it. My curls tend to fall out really quickly, and until recently I could only get them to hold using rag curlers, even though I don't actually use any setting lotion, even though I know I should. I haven't been able to decide which one I should buy, so I just haven't bought one at all. So usually I just shampoo, condition my hair, and then while it is almost dry, set it before I go to bed. In this week, I videoed morning and night how I got ready in the morning and styled my hair, and then at night how I set my hair. I tried using a different method every day for setting my hair to see which methods worked better than others, and I was fairly surprised at the results. I'm still pretty new at doing wet sets in my hair often. I've never had much luck with a curling iron and getting curls to stay more than one day, if that. I'm having a lot of success trying different wet set methods, and that seems to be working a whole lot better. My favorite hairstyles range from, well, a little bit of a combination of 40s floofy curls and the 30s kind of flouncy, really feminine curls, and a little bit of like 50s structure. So my hairstyles are a little bit of they're all over the place, a little bit of a combination of everything. For a while I was doing lots of victory rolls and barrel rolls, which I love, but then realized really the styles that I most liked were often just curls, set in different ways, kind of loose waves, and just curls. So I realized I did actually need to get good at curling my hair, and I needed to figure out a way to get the curls to set and stay. So a lot of the methods in this video I have found have worked really well for me. The week that I filmed was an exceptionally good hair week. The curls lasted all week and until the end of the week, and even when I went to wash my hair after, I think it was 6 days, the curls stayed in. I went to wash my hair and it was still incredibly curly. Like, it ended up in a really nice little page boy style. I don't show myself setting the curlers in this video. I am constantly experimenting with new setting patterns, so I will keep you updated on the patterns that I like. I hope you find this video helpful. We will get to day one. So on the first day, these are the two tools I thought I needed. So to start off, I took off the scarf. I had actually put these curlers in, I think the day before, and I ended up keeping them in all day, sleeping in them, keeping them in all day again, because we had a temporary weekend lockdown here in Brisbane, so no need to remove the curlers. So the curlers were in a nice long time, so my hair had plenty of time to set, and it really shows as I start taking these curlers out. So I just use normal foam rollers in my hair. For this one, they're quite small, and you can see they kind of get pinched down quite a lot. But for this set, I ended up using the plastic snaps on all the curlers, because I think this was my first time using these foam rollers, And because I was using such small sections, I didn't get any creasing, which I usually do when I use the little snaps, but these all seem to turn out fine. And nowadays, usually when I put these foam rollers in around the sides of my head, I use bobby pins to secure them rather than the snaps because it does make it more comfortable. And I usually remove these from bottom to top just to make it a little bit easier to get to them. And you can see it shortened my hair quite a bit using these teeny tiny little rollers. And you'll be able to see my setting pattern. I shake them out here. I've got a part on the side, my natural part. And so the next step after admiring my bouncy locks is to use my fingers to kind of pull those curls apart a little bit and just kind of start to get them separated. And as I mentioned, these curlers were in a long time. So I went in with the comb thinking that might work, but it did not. So went in with the big guns straight away with my wet brush. The wet brush, I think, does a really good job of getting the curls to start to come together, kind of breaking through all the curls and getting them all to start forming into those waves. So I usually use this first, and then I have another paddle brush that I use after that kind of seems to smooth things out. And now I am admiring this fabulous triangular shaped floof of a hairstyle. So what you're about to see next is me going in with a few different types of brushes to try and tame some of this wild curly mess, and then proceed to start styling. So, like I mentioned in the intro of this video, one of the amazing inventions that I have recently started taking advantage of are hair nets. And what I'm trying to show you here is that there's actually a hole in this hairnet because I'd used it a few times, but to kind of save having to throw them away, what I do is I part the hair from ear to ear and separate. Give it a clip. I'm not usually this thorough when styling my hair, but I actually found out that the clips make it a lot easier. So that hole I was talking about before, I take the hole and just make sure that it's up on top of my head so that no hair is going to poke through. And then it doesn't matter if the hole is on top. You'll also see the little kind of bunching of the fibers of the hairnet on the side. I try to make sure those are behind my ears as well. And then just give it a nice floof, and then you've got a beautiful, perfectly sleek set of curls. Very kind of 40s looking, I think. get to the end of the day here, you can tell it's the end of the day because the lipstick's worn off from my lips onto my chin. Always a good look. So I proceed to take my hair down, pins out, hairnet out, and then I'm going to use one of the methods I commonly use to tie up my curls at night. So basically, I kind of run my fingers through, flip my head over so that all the curls are pretty much sitting on top of my head in this very high fashion look, and tuck everything in. And then I just tie them up in a scarf like that, and I find as long as they're sitting on top of my head, then while I'm sleeping, none of the curls get crushed. So for day 2, I went for a really similar hairstyle. So once I pulled out my scarf, the curls were all pretty well intact, and all I needed to do was brush them out. And then I went for a very similar kind of style, and you can see that the waves are even starting to kind of come together even more now, and used that to just do a very similar hairstyle to what I did on the first day. And if you'll notice here, as I'm turning around, just below my right ear, there is a little bit of hair sticking out of that hairnet. But don't worry, I fixed that. So, as I mentioned before, I didn't use a setting lotion or anything to set my hair for this, so I noticed that the ends were getting a little bit frizzy, so I grabbed some hair oil and ran it through, and that really seemed to do the trick. I've never really had that frizzing problem before in my hair, but I just have a feeling it was a combination of using such tight curls and having left them in for so long. So for that night's curling method, after I put in a little dry shampoo, because I have really oily hair usually, so I like to do it at night so it just doesn't get crazy oily. I basically just took sections of hair, rolled them up under, and pinned them behind my head. I know that the Vintage Girl Next Door does this, where she kind of twists the hair up behind her head, but I have so much hair that I can't really get it all in one go, so I just did 3 little sections and put 1 bobby pin in each section and looked around for a roller to put the front section of hair in. You'll see me snap this, but I actually ended up changing this out for a bobby pin later on, which you'll see now. So instead of using the snap for the roller in the back, and nearly lost my scarf during the night, I used bobby pins instead. The style that I chose to do this day was a little bit more simple, sans hairnet. I was really liking the look of the kind of waves, of the kind of floofy curls, so I just pinned up the front and left the rest just kind of how it was. But what's really important here is this mug, pictures of my dog Duke that I gave to my husband and maybe kind of to myself for Christmas. So for this night of setting up the curls, I kind of combined two of my methods so far. So I decided to wrap the hair kind of in like a roll at the back of my head, but instead of putting it low at the nape of my neck, I put it up higher where I kind of usually flip my curls over and have them up. And put the scarf around, did some serious gab in there, and put some pins into the scarf because I kept losing my scarf at night. So then just rolled up the front as I'd been doing. You'll notice that I did lose quite a bit of curl during the night, but I don't think it's the fault of the way I set it. I think it's just because my hair is really oily, and by this time, usually I've pretty much lost all the curl in my hair, but the ends still looked really nice. So I use this little trick where I kind of brush the hair over my arm. I use it to kind of help the hair curl under and kind of train the curls to wrap around. And so this day I decided to just go with a really kind of sleek hairstyle, very similar with the hairnet, but instead of having the kind of poofy curls in the back, have it more of kind of a page boy style where it's just curled under. So I totally forgot to hairspray the front of my hair, so you'll notice here it flopped down quite a bit during the day, but that's alright. Still looked pretty good and wavy. So everything held together pretty well during the day. In the hairnet, seriously guys, hairnets are the savior of curls. So tonight I decided to use kind of a different method, something I'd never tried before. So using those little hair donuts, I've got a few that are cut to do things like bumper bangs. So I just rolled my hair up in one of those to keep it from getting crushed during the night. So I just did it at the nape of my neck because that's kind of where they reached best. And I was really just trying to hold on to those ends and keep them curled under. So put on the scarf and then just did the front of my hair exactly the same way I've been doing it. I lost one of the donut rolls during the night, but you'll see as I take it down, I was actually very pleasantly surprised at how well they turned out. They look fantastic. They look so much curlier than they had been the day before. I was honestly so happy with how my hair turned out that day, and I think this even was one of my favorite hairstyles for the entire week that I did. And turns out we had a bit of a impromptu party in my room while getting ready for bed. Here's me trying to get Duke to say hello to the camera. but Juke is really scared of the camera. Juke does not like anything that beeps. So I just went with Old Faithful here, flipping the hair up, putting the scarf on because of the way I knew I was going to style it the next day. I didn't need so much curl. So you may be wondering in this video, this is a vintage hair video. Where are the victory rolls? Well, here they are. So I tend to do victory rolls when my hair is nice and oily and it's going to stay where I put it. So this is usually kind of a 3rd or 4th day hairstyle, and I try to go for a little bit more subtle rolls, so you'll see me rolling them pretty tightly. So to go with my victory rolls, I did these little kind of half buns in the back, which is something I'd never done before, but I really liked the way they turned out. So I basically just kind of twisted the hair, pinned it in place, and then nice lot of hairspray. And of course, topped the whole look off with my Revlon Fire and Ice. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope you found some of this information useful and will help you with your wet sets. Now, I'm still very new to a lot of vintage hairstyling. I learned a lot of what I know through a local hairstylist and friend, Vicky Shield. She has a business, Snippets of Time, so if you're in the local Brisbane area, you can check her out. I will link her information in the description box. And I will also put a link to the Vintage Girl Next Door's original video of her week of curls and setting her hair. I hope you enjoyed seeing the process and that it will help you in your vintage hairstyling adventures. I'm still constantly learning new things, so I will be giving you updates along the way as soon as I get myself a setting lotion. I'm sure it's going to drastically change and make styling my hair even easier and make setting my hair easier. So I will be sure to keep you all updated as I keep learning new things. I'll see you all next time. Bye!